So, can you guys tell me how we did that x to the third times x squared is what?
X to the
X to the fifth.
Right, because it means x times x times x times x times x, so it's 5x is multiplied by. So, when you are multiplying the same base, the number below the exponent, then you can add their exponents. How about this?
You got x to the 6.
Right. Basically, it's x cubed times x cubed, right? So it's like that, which makes it x to the 6th. So, but anyway, when you have a power to a power, it just ends up multiplying it. How about this?
X to the 2nd.
Right, so it's the opposite of this. When you multiply, you add. When you divide, you subtract the exponent. Alright, that's not really what we're doing today, but yeah. Just to review. We kind of talked about this before, but what happens when I do, trouble in paradise. Sometimes this doesn't work. I don't know why it figures out. That's good. All clear. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. If I do like the square root of okay, let's screw it up. Oh gosh. Maybe it's good over here. Let's try over here.
Why is it just in that spot?
Alright. I'm at x squared. What is the square root of x squared? X, right? Kind of. So, when you square root a square, those are opposites. It's like, if I did 4, fail, I don't know how to fix it.
You could turn it off and on again.
Turn what off and on?
Like, restart your computer or like restart the
Yeah.
smart notebook.
That'll take a long time.
The way I see it,
Hmm?
wasting.
You could just write on the board.
Yeah.
It's back in middle school again.
But he doesn't have all the college quizzes.
Exactly. Or the
Or the
alternative.
paintbrush.
Yeah, you can't use the paintbrush. You should fix the notebook because you can't. use
Okay,
the
if
paintbrush.
I did 3 squared, it would be what?
No.
9. And then if I took the square root of that, it is what?
3.
Okay, here's the thing though. So squares and square roots are opposites. They cancel each other out. That's the point of that. Here's the thing though. What if I did -3 squared? What would I get?
-9.
No.
9.
Oh,
Nine.
that'd be 9.
Then I took the square root of that. It's 3. So the answer isn't. So I was going to write x here, right? But the answer isn't exactly x. When you square something and then take the square root always spits out a positive. So it doesn't go back to -3 as an option. So sometimes these two are not the same. Okay, if you square it and take the square root, it always turns out positive. So really, this is what they write: square root of x, or absolute value of x. Because whether it started as 3, it ends up as 3. If it starts as -3, it ends up as 3. So it just turns everything into positive. What if I did the same thing with like to the 4th power? 3 to the 4th, 3, 9, 27, 81 is 81. Have we seen fourth roots yet?
No.
I think we saw it on number one,
Did we? Okay.
but I don't remember.
Fourth root means what to the 4th equals 81. So obviously it would be 3, right? What if I did negative 3 to the 4th? What would that equal?
Absolute value 3.
It's still 81, right?
Yeah.
Still positive because 4 negatives make a positive. And then if I did the 4th root of that, it's still positive. So same thing with 2 and 4 and 6 and 8. Those are all the same. But what if I did to the 3rd? So this is supposed to be on camera, but what if I did to the 3rd though? Let's say negative 3 to the 3rd, 3, 9, 27. Negative 27. What's the cubed root of negative 27? What to the 3rd equals negative 27?
3, 5.
Negative 3. That actually works because you can do negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 and get a negative. So, if it's an odd power, it actually just stays the same. If it's an even power, it might be turning it positive. That's the point of all that. Okay. I'm gonna try again. Yeah, I'll just restart it one. Anything that I open? Alright.
Raindrops falling on
Okay, so what if I did x to the 6th and the square root of that? So remember, square root means what squared equals that. So what squared would equal x to the 6th? X to the 3rd, that's right. So basically, what did we do? There's kind of, when you have a square root, there's kind of an invisible 2 right there. So basically what we did was 6 divided by 2, right?
Yeah.
Because x3 times x3 equals x6, so it's basically just dividing by 2. Yeah. Now, here's the thing though. With the even powers, technically we should do the absolute value. It doesn't really matter where we put it around the x or the 3. It comes out the same either way. Anytime you have an even root, and do that. Yeah, that's good enough for now. Let's jump in. 290. Now it says without a calculator. We'll maybe do number 1 without a calculator, and then I'll let you guys can cheat and do the rest with the calculator. Because the tricky part of the lesson is actually the second part. So how can we find the square root of 196 without a calculator?
You can't, you should use your calculator.
Incorrect.
You put your phone, you use your calculator on your phone.
Also incorrect.
I think it's
14.
Huh?
I thought it was.
You ask Siri.
Is it 14?
I think it's 14.
Okay, you do
14,
the tree,
Oh, the tree.
the lovely tree. So what can go into 196?
98 and 2.
4.
98 and 2. I stand by
4 and something.
4 and
49.
yeah.
Okay, 196 is 4 and 49.
And then 7 and 7.
2 and 2, 7 and 7. Okay, remember the doubles went on the outside, so 2 and 7 go on the outside, 2 times 7. And nothing is on the inside, so that means it actually has a nice square root. So the square root is 2 times 7.
Damn.
Alright. That's more of a reminder, cause we're gonna need those tricks for number 13. How about I pause for about 3 minutes, and I want you guys to do 1 through 12. You can use your calculators, fine.
Odds and evens?
Odds and evens. If you don't know how to plug in like the cubed root or the fourth root, you can ask now. And
I think you
I
did that.
don't know how. On this calculator.
Do you have a Casino?
Okay, if you have the Texas Instrument, the graphing, and it might be a actually. Yeah, it's in the math menu.
It's your.
Okay, it's option 5 where it says, well, option 4 is the third.
Where's the math?
So on option 5 it says x root. So that means you're supposed to actually hit the root before you hit option 5. So if I want to do like fourth root, I'd hit 4, math menu, option 5, and voila. I guess you can also use the arrows to go in. So 4 through 16 is 2.
Where is it? This one?
See right there?
And then option four?
Your 4 is the third, 5 is the extra, so that means you can choose like. So, yeah, usually you want to put the number in before you hit that, so,
We don't have to, like,
or else you have to do that.
we don't have to put.
You turn it on.
Anybody else?
No.
Corey, did you find it? Like how to plug in the fourth root and stuff like that? Like number 3. You gotta plug that in your calculator. Straight there, see where it says x root. So you have to hit the root first. And then plug in the thing. Sleeping on the job because raindrops keep falling on me.
Did I get this song stuck in your head?
Did you say, was that you?
Yeah.
There was a little bit of snow
Yeah,
on the cars and roofs this morning.
like a tenth of an inch.
No, not even that. You call it a dusting.
It was minuscule.
It was unmeasurable. Not in front of the exponent.
But I just gave you.
I guess that might be the one. say. One more minute. If you, of course, if you don't get done, you can just come back and do it. Square. Oh, pause the power. All right, number 13. They kind of are cheating a little bit on this because they say in the directions, assume variables represent positive real numbers. Which means if they start positive, they're going to end positive. We don't have to do the absolute value thing. That's what that means for 13 through 22. So what is the square root of 25? 5. What's the square root of a to the 6th? A to the third. What's the square root of b squared? B. So what's the answer?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, a to the square root of 5, a to the third, b. What is that? That is,
We don't have to put the square. Oh wait, no, we just did that.
that is a standard.
Let me try this and see if this does magic. Come on, baby.
Just turns it off.
I think it worked. I don't know. We'll see.
Do a horizontal line.
That'll work last time.
Just be safe. There you go.
It worked.
Try a diagonal just to be safe.
Alright, what was I writing? Negative 5a cubed, I still need to cover it. B, was that it?
Yeah. How would you do 14? To the third. So we're not supposed to use our calculators on this one.
You can't. You can do it on the number part.
Yeah.
You can't do it on
The
the letters.
yeah, no, I don't mind.
Alright. Well, 14, you can just watch how we do 15, that's how. So, on 14, remember you're doing a cubed root though, so. Well, actually 14 is kind of easy.
Just how.
You do cubed root of 125 like normal, and then what to the third equals x to the ninth? 3, x to the third. So basically you're just dividing the power by the root. Powers and roots are opposites. So you just divide them. Number 15, how do we do 1 square root of 162? Well, if you have a Casio, you just put it in the Casio, but if you don't, it does not have a nice square root. What can go into 162?
9 square root of 2. Oh, that's the answer.
2 can go in 81 times. 81 is 9 times 9. So it's 9 squared root of 2. Now remember, this is only part of the problem. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 9, and I'm going to put a gap, and the square root of 2 goes inside. Because I still have to deal with the letters. And the letters are going to do something similar with the letter.
But it's an odd number.
Okay, a cubed. Does a cubed have a square root? No. So, I don't know what the best way to describe this is. What does this split into?
A squared and A.
This is a squared times a, and a squared is what? Okay, so on the outside, we're going to put an A, and on the inside we're gonna put an A. So it's like A squared of A. It's kind of the same way that 8, if we did 8, it would be 2 square root of 2. So A cubed is A squared of A. Here's another way to think about it. So it was A cubed square root of that, right? So what is 3 divided by 2? Was
1/2.
1 with a remainder of 1 with a remainder of what? Agreed. 1. 1 with a remainder of 1. So that's like this. You're going to have 1 on the outside and the remainder of 1 goes on the inside. I'm not sure what the easiest way to do that is. Probably division. Alright. 17. What is the cube root of 135? Uh-oh, even the Casios can't do these. Trouble.
I can totally do that.
You can plug it in and it just won't tell you. Alright.
It does. It's 5.12.
No, we're not doing decimals. We're not doing decimals. We're leaving it in radical form. Yeah, all calculators can give you decimal. So for a cube root, we need 3 of something, right?
Wait, it says 3 square root of 15.
No,
3
it's
and
a
45.
17 is a cube root,
3 and 45.
not a square root. Okay, 135 is 3 times 45. You just plug divided by 3 in the calculator, I assume, right? And what goes into 45?
95.
This must be hard to program if the calculators can't do it. I don't see why they couldn't though. I don't get it.
3 square root of 15.
Okay, right. Well, no, not quite. So we're doing a cube root. Cube roots need
3.
3 of something to have an actual cube
I would
root.
say it'd be 3.
So it's going to be 3 on the outside, 3 left over 5. Cube root of 5. So it's 3 cube root of 5. Notice I left a gap for my letters. Actually, I didn't even check if my letters needed a gap. Yeah, they do. Okay. Let's do it this way. A to the 4th can break down to what?
A squared.
Okay, a squared times a squared, but I need something with a cubed root, so what else can I do here? A to the 3rd. And a. What is the cubed root of a to the 3rd? A. Okay, with 1 left over, right? So that's going to go in here. So that actually has a cubed root, so I take the cubed root of that. This leftover does not have a cubed root, it stays behind. Or, I'm debating on what's the easiest way to think about it. It was to the 4th power and the 3rd root. If you divide, you get 1 with the remainder of 1. So 1 on the outside and 1 on the inside. Which way makes more sense? Probably this way, maybe? Or this way? You guys don't know.
I don't know. I think.
About saying. This is more visually.
Yeah, I think I like the A better.
Me either.
As a plus.
You just don't understand both ways. Is that why you're not able to? Okay.
Wait.
Oh wait, that had to be also. What's the cube root of b to the 3rd? B. So cube root of b to the 3rd is b. What do I put on the inside?
Nothing.
Nothing, right. There's no leftovers. So there it is. One off. That's not that bad.
How do you do 18? It's 1.44.
1.44 has a square root. It'll be a decimal, but
Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought it was
what's the square root of 144? Do you guys remember?
12.
12. So what's the square root of 1.44?
1.2.
1.2.
Yeah.
I like just the squares, we can see that.
But we don't change the letters or anything, right?
Yeah, you can. What's the square of A? The square root of A?
It'll stay in the square root. Okay, number 19. Fifth root. We're stepping up our game here. Maybe I might need to cut this off at like 25 or something. That's just one. Oh, it's 26. Doesn't make any difference. 19 is fifth root of 224. I'm just gonna write it all down. Okay, so to simplify fifth root of 224, we need 5 of something. Let's break it down. What goes into 224?
8 and 28.
8 and 28. You guys know what 8 breaks down to? I'm going to cheat here. 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, what goes into 28?
93.
Correct. 4 and 7.
27.
And that's 2 and 2. So we actually do, of course, have 5 2s. If we didn't have 5 of anything, then it wouldn't be able to simplify. We just have to leave it as the fifth root of 224. Just like we do square root. And 7 is left over. So I have 2 times the fifth root of 7.
So would it be
Okay.
x and x squared in the thing?
That's what I got so far. Yeah, so the fifth root of y squared does not simplify because there's not 5 of anything, so y squared is just going to stay in there. But x to the 7th, the fifth root of that, there are 5 x's there. So I'm still debating. I don't know if this is the best way. X to the 7th is like x to the 5th times x squared, right? X to the 5th has a fifth root. It's just x. But that leaves 2 x's behind, x squared behind. So that's going to stay in the fifth, inside the radical. Now I'm starting to think division was a better way to go. 7 divided by, I don't know, maybe you guys are so not used to dividing that you won't do that. What's 7 divided by 5? 1 with a remainder of 2. 1, like exponent of 1, I don't put it. Remainder of 2.
Does it also?
Oh, I like that a lot.
Like you have
That makes
7,
sense now. Yeah.
Huh?
if you have something bigger than 5, you just, yeah, like it's like 5 for
It's like, yeah, you take 5 out, but it becomes a 1,
Yeah,
and then the 2 gets left behind.
That's a lot.
that's how I thought about it.
Okay, so y squared doesn't have 5y, so does not simplify, so it's just going to stay in there. And then z to the 8th, you guys tell me.
It'd be z squared. Yeah.
Right. You take 5 z's out as 1 z, and then 3 you get left behind.
That low-key makes sense now.
What?
That makes sense now. Like I understand.
Well, I think it actually helped when we had a higher root. For some reason, it just made it clearer. Alright. Anyway, there it is. There she blows. Have you guys seen that commercial where Captain Ahab is helping the lady find a parking spot?
I think so. Maybe. I don't watch much TV these days.
I only saw one at once, so maybe it's a Super Bowl commercial they're getting it. It was pretty funny.
That's the fun of watching the Super Bowl.
He's standing up, she's got like a sunroof, and he's standing up through the sunroof, and he's like got an eyeglass.
I remember that.
To starboard, hang to starboard. And 21. Square root again. Okay. I guess since it's a square root, you can actually use your calculator to, the Casios anyway, to do this. But let's see, that would be like 2 times 96, and that would be 2 times 48, and that would be like 16 times 3, and that'd be 4 times 4. So if you have two doubles, it's 2 times 4 on the outside, so it's 8, and then the leftover is 3, so it's negative 8 square root of 3, what we got so far. Okay, what's the square root of x to the 12th? I don't know why this one is easier. I don't get their reasoning on this. What's the square root of x to the 12th?
X to the 6?
Okay, anything left over?
No.
Okay, what's the square root of y to the 5th? Okay,
Y to the 6th and then y to the 2nd inside.
close, not quite.
Oh, y to the 3rd.
What's 15 divided by 2?
6.
No. 15 divided by
Oh,
2?
7 with a remainder.
7 with the remainder of
1.
1.
Cool.
There we go.
Starting to click.
Clicking, baby. All cylinders. Alright, 23. Kind of the same, but short and sweet. Oh, they took out the rule that all the variables represent positive numbers. That means if we have a even power to like a square root or something, we're gonna have to put the absolute value. Okay, 23. So what's basically it's like when it's a square root, there's an invisible 2 on the outside, right? So what's 5 divided by 2? 3. No.
Wait, talking about, oh, wait.
Our division skills are sorely lacking. What is 5 divided by 2?
5 over 2.
Goodness, this is still screwed up. 5 divided by 2.
2.
2 with the remainder of 1.
So x squared square root x.
Yes, x squared. Square root of x. Nothing's worrying me. That was A.
Oh, there's no.
B. But wait, there's more. What's the square root of x to the 6th?
X cubed.
Okay, this is the thing. Okay, all we're looking for is an even power. All right. If there's an even power, it's going to turn negatives positive. So, anyways, it's not just x to the 3rd. It's
Square root.
the absolute value of x to the 3rd.
There we go.
Now they put it just around the x, but that doesn't really make any difference.
I don't know when to use that.
Okay, when there's an even power, it's going to turn negatives positive, and it will never go back again. Okay. So on C, we don't have to worry about it. What's 7 divided by 2?
Is that x to the 3rd square root of x?
Okay. 3 with the remainder of 1. Alright. How do we do 25A? 6 divided by 4?
3.
3.
One remaining 2.
1 remainder 2. So, since it's an even power, I'm going to do this. 1 remainder 2. Okay, on B, what's 7 divided by 4?
1 remainder 3.
Oh, I forgot it was Wednesday.
Oh,
Dang
I
it.
forgot.
I guess this will just have to be a 2-day assignment.
1 remainder 3 let's finish this one's done. And then, well, technically it'll be due on Friday, so we can talk a little bit about tomorrow. What's 8 divided by 4? X squared. Now, on this one, you could put the absolute value, but what happens when you have an X squared answer? It'll always be positive. So it wouldn't be wrong with the absolute value, but you don't have to put it. I think we're still fuzzy on the absolute value. It's got an even power to start with. Generally, you want to put the absolute value.